So dear students, in this video, we are going to study about confiscation of goods, which is a very important aspect of custom duty, which is one of the part of custom duty. Like custom department, they have various kind of rules and regulations, like a seizure of goods, confiscation, penalty. Out of that, confiscation of goods is also very much important for custom department. Confiscation of goods and conveyance and imposition of penalties. These all things are mentioned in section 111 to 127. Goods become liable to confiscation if the importer or exporter contravenes any of the provisions of the Custom Act 1962 or any other act of the time being in force in relation to the importation and exportation of goods. Some of the important allied statutes that get attract in the manner are, to mention just a few: the Arms Act, Copyright Act, Dangerous Drugs Act, Foreign Exchange Management Act, Import and Export Act, Trademarks Act, Ancient Monument Preservation Act. So the main reason for confiscation, this is applicable when any importer or exporter, if he is not following anything which is prescribed by Custom Act 1962, or if he is not following the rules and regulations said by these all different kinds of acts like Arms Act, Copyright Acts, Dangerous Drugs Act, Foreign Exchange Management Act. So if he does not follow it, in that case, the custom department may have a right of confiscation of goods. The responsibility of the officer of custom to ensure that none of the provision of this and such enacted is contravened. So he has to look after that, the custom officer, all the acts whichever are required and necessary, those all things need to be followed. Nobody should break these all things. It is also to meet that there are several instances of contravention of these provision, and this has paved the way to procedures being laid down for not only bringing the contravention to the notice of those concerned, but also to take those responsible to take for non-compliance with the statutory obligation, of course. So not only they will be held responsible if anybody is not following any of these acts, while if they do any kind of import and export, not only custom duty and custom act is important, with that the other allied acts, the other different kind of acts are equally very important. And if anybody is doing any kind of uh, mistake in this, or if he is not having any compliance to these kind of acts, then that particular thing will amount to confiscation of goods. So there are a contravention of the Custom Act 1962 also, and all these are taken care of by the set procedures of education. So whatever these things are laid down are being taken by a particular set of some people, education. They need to take care of these all things, whether these all things are properly followed or not. And the Custom Act provides for a notice of issue to the importer or exporter of any goods if duty of the custom have not been levied or has been short levied. Then similarly, if any contravention of any of the provision of any act of time being in force is noticed. So if he does not pay any duty, or if any payment of duty, if it is made, short payment of duty has been made either by importer or exporter, or if any contravention or any of the act, whether any act you can take, which has been a contravention of any provision of the act has been made, in that case, the Custom Act can send a notice for the importer or exporter from their department, and the notice will be issued to them. And here, as per section 124, the custom lays down the different kind of things. like any goods imported by sea or air which are uploaded or attempted to be uploaded at any place other than custom port or custom airport appointed under a clause 7. So then even for them also they can send a notice. Any goods imported by land or inland water through any route other than a route specified in notification issued under clause C of section 7 of import of goods. Any dutiable or prohibited goods bought into any bay, gulf, gree or tidal river, right, for the purpose of being landed at a place other than custom port. Any goods which are imported or attempted to be imported or bought within the Indian custom water. So likewise, there are so many rules they are told. So on all these things, particularly all classification will be issued by the custom department. Now, similarly, penalty for improper importation of goods, which is mentioned in section 112. So what is the penalty for that? Under section 112, any person who in relation to any goods does or omits to do any act which act or omission would render such goods liable to confiscation under section 111 or abates the doing or omission of such an act, there such person will be liable for a penalty and shall be liable in case of a goods in respect of which any prohibition is in force under the act or any other law for time being enforced to a penalty not exceeding the value of goods or 5,000 rupees, whichever is greater. So if suppose some small consification has been done, prohibition was there in the act, and even after that, the without seeing the prohibition, the goods were imported or exported, exceeding the value, the penalty not exceeding the value of the goods or 5,000 rupees, whichever is the greater, that will be amounted as a penalty in some cases. In case of dutiable goods other than prohibited goods, where the goods are dutiable, the provision is like not exceeding 10% of the duty, right? Or 5,000 rupees, whichever is higher. If the goods are dutiable, the 10% of dutiable goods or 5,000 rupees, whichever is higher, will be liable for penalty for dutiable goods. Third is, in case of the goods in respect of which value stated in entry made under the act, right? Value stated in entry made under the act or the baggage. In the baggage, they have mentioned the value. In that case, either the case we can see here like is higher than the value thereof. So the penalty not exceeding the difference between declared value and the value thereof, right? The penalty is the actual value declared and the uh, difference between the value declared and value exactly actual value we can call, or 5,000 rupees. So whichever is greater, that will amount to the penalty. Similarly, in case of goods falling under clause 1 and 2, to a penalty not exceeding the value of goods, first of all, the value of the goods, whatever value of the goods is there, that will be the penalty, or the difference between declared value and the value thereof, or 5,000 rupees. So, where the goods are falling under clause 1 and 2, there are three comparison told. First of all, penalty not exceeding the value of goods or the difference between the declared value and the value thereof, or 5,000 rupees, or last is whichever is higher. So in these cases, we'll compare the whichever is higher is called as the penalty. Similarly, in case of goods falling both under clause 2 and 3, to a penalty not exceeding the duty sought to be evaded on such goods, or 5 times the difference between declared value and the value thereof, or 5,000 rupees. So here, whichever is highest is again is the value of penalty under particular thing in customs. Next is classification of goods attempted to be imported improperly exported, etc., which are said in section 113. The following export goods shall be liable to confiscation under section 113 of the act. Why they are liable for confiscation is because these are attempted to improperly exported. These are not done properly exported. When you export anything, there are various rules and regulations. But when you don't follow those rules and regulations, and when you don't follow those things, then as per section 113, those things are called as the exported goods will be liable for the confiscation. Any goods attempted to be exported by sea or air from any place other than the custom port or a custom airport appointed for the loading of such goods. Okay. Now, if you are exporting or doing anything kind of export other than the custom port, then in such case, the following export goods shall be liable for confiscation. Okay, because you have to export the goods from the custom port itself. Any goods attempted to be exported by a land or inland water through any route other than route specified in notification issued under clause C of section 7 for the export of such goods. So as per notification which is issued in section 7, through that notification only the route inland water as well as the route has to be selected. Apart from that, if anybody else is selecting any other route, even that is also allowed for, they are also liable for confiscation. Any goods bought near the land frontier of or the coast of the land or nearby a bay, gulf, creek, or tidal river for the purpose of being exported from a place other than a land custom station or a custom port appointed for loading of such goods. So you are not using the custom port here, which has been appointed for loading of such goods. Apart from that, some other place is been used, like a bay is there, a gulf is there, a creek is there, or a tidal river is there. So these all things, what we call, are not properly following the custom rules. Any goods attempted to be exported or brought within the limit of any custom area for the purpose of being exported, contrary to any prohibition imposed by or under this act or any other law for time being enforced. Okay. In time being, what happens? The custom department will tell that these goods should be exported from this particular area, apart from custom area or apart from custom port. But you have bought or attempted to bring these things in the time being, you're not bought that in that particular area. So those things will also be amounted for the goods as called as confiscation. Then any goods found concealed in the package which is brought within the limits of a custom area for the purpose of exportation. Okay. The concealed area or concealed in a package you are bought within the limit of custom area, but totally it is concealed in the packaging. Now custom department will also treat such kind of a goods as confiscation. Any goods which are loaded or attempted to be loaded in contravention of the provision of section 33 and section 34, they will also amount to as the attempted to the confiscation. Then similarly, any goods loaded or attempted to be loaded for any conveyance, waterborne or attempted to be waterborne, or being loaded on any vessel, the eventual destination of which is a place outside India, without the permission of a proper officer. Okay, you have loaded the goods or any other conveyance, waterborne is there, a boat is there, a vessel is there, but you're not taken a permission from the proper officer. Now, in that case, also these are also called as a confiscation of the goods. Any goods which are not included or in excess of those included in the entry made under this act. In case of baggaging, declaration made under section 77. Okay. So here they have told us two subpoints, like any goods entered in the exportation which do not correspond in respect of value or in material, particularly in entry made under the act or in the case of baggage with the declaration made under section 77. So whatever declaration you made and whatever entry you made, the goods are not corresponding to that. Goods are not related or corresponding to that. In that case also, there will be amounting for a confiscation. Any goods entered for exportation under a claim for drawback, which do not correspond in any material, particularly with any information furnished by the exporter or manufacturer under this act, in relation to fixation of rate of drawback under section 75. Okay, so where there is a drawback of duty, in that case, if any information is furnished by the exporter or manufacturer, it is regarding the fixation of rate of a drawback. There also such thing will be called as confiscation of goods. Any goods on which import duty has not been paid and which is entered for exportation under section 74. Okay, import duty are not paid by you, but which has been entered for exportation, right, under section 74, those goods are also treated as the confiscation of goods. Any goods cleared for exportation under a claim for drawback, which are not loaded for exportation on account of any willful act, negligency, or default of the exporter in his agent, right, or employee, or which after having been loaded for exportation are unloaded without any permission of the proper officer, there also it can amount to particularly confiscation. Any specified goods in relation to which any provision of chapter 4b or any rule made by under this act for carrying out the purpose of the chapter has been contravened, means there has been not following of any of the chapter or a provision, there also the goods can amount to a confiscation. Now, penalty for attempt to export goods improperly. Now we saw about these are the improper way where the export or import has been done, and due to that these are treated as confiscation. Now if anybody does this, right, improper way, now what is the penalty, right? Penalty for attempt to export goods improperly, which is mentioned in section 114. According to section 114, any person who is in relation of to any goods does or omit to do any act which act or omission would render such goods liable to confiscation under section 113 or abate the doing or omission of such an act shall be liable. Okay, see here, if you don't do the import or export properly, particularly export properly, or you're not following the rules mentioned in section 113, then you will be liable for those goods are be liable for confiscation. Now those are liable for confiscation means those goods are liable for penalty. Okay, the first is in case of goods in respect of which any prohibition is in force under this act or any other law for the time being in force. So here, what will be the value of the penalty? It is not exceeding 3 times the value of goods as declared by the exporter or the value determined under this act. 3 times the uh, value of the goods declared by the exporter. Whatever value is declared by the exporter, 3 times of it, or the value as determined under this act. Under this act, whatever value is determined, that whichever is greater, that will be treated as the penalty for attempt to export goods in improper way or confiscation. In case of dutiable goods other than prohibited goods, so these goods are dutiable, you can trade them. These are not prohibited one, subject to provision of section 114a to a penalty not exceeding 10% of duty to evaded or 5,000 rupees, whichever is higher. Okay, so it says that whatever goods are there, of that penalty will be paid on you as 10% of the duty, 5,000 rupees, or 10% of that particular duty, whichever is higher. And it also says that if it is paid within 30 days from the date of communication of order of the proper officer, such duty amount of penalty liable to be paid by such person under this section shall be 25% of the penalty so determined. Okay, within 30 days from the date of communication of order, such duty should be paid liable. Okay, beyond that it will become up to like 25%. In case of any other goods, to a penalty not exceeding the value of goods, right? Any other goods are there where penalty is exceeding the value of goods as declared by the exporter, or the value has as determined under this act, with there whichever is higher, whether the value declared by the exporter or value determined under this act, again whichever is greater, that will be taken for the penalty for particularly for attempt to export goods in improperly, right, which is said in section 114. Now, penalty for short levy or non-levy of duty in certain cases, which is mentioned in section 114A. So what do you mean by this? As per section 114A, it inserted by Finance Rule number 2 Act 1996 with effect from 28/9/1996, which prescribes a mandatory penalty equal to the duty or interest not levied, short lived, not paid, or part paid, or erroneously refunded by reason of collusion or willful misstatement or suppression of facts by the person liable to pay the duty. The section reads as under. Okay, so if anyone has paid any short duty, non-levy of the duty, short levy of the duty in certain cases, where in that case this section 114A with effect from 28/9/1996 will be applicable. Where the duty has not been levied or has been short levied, right, where it is not completely levied or it is short levied, has not been charged or paid, or has not been part paid, or the duty or interest has been erroneously refunded by a reason. So in these all cases, the person who is liable to pay the duty or interest, as the case may be, as determined under section 2 of section 28, shall be liable to pay a penalty equal to the duty or interest so determined. So further, that the benefit of reduced penalty under this first provision shall be available subject to condition that the amount of penalty so determined has also been paid within the period of 30 days. Okay, if it is paid within 30 days, he will get relaxation, which means first provision will be applicable. And if it is paid after 30 days, right, let us take more than 30 days, again there will be increase in the duty. And it is provided that paying a reduced or increased by a commissioner, the tribunal, or the case may be the court, then for the purpose of this section the duty or interest as reduced or increased as the case may shall be applicable, or taken into particularly one particular account. Next is penalty for use or false incorrect material, right? So where section 114AA provides that if a person knowingly or intentionally makes, signs, or uses or causes to be made, signed, or used any declaration, statement, or document which is false or incorrect in any material, particularly in the transaction of any business, for the purpose of this act, shall be liable to a penalty not exceeding 5 times the value of goods. So he has made a material error, or he has made a false statement, incorrect material intentionally, right? False, incorrect material or symbol or sign or anything, where in that case he shall be liable for a penalty not exceeding 5 times the value of goods. Whatever is the value of goods, of that minimum maximum he can be applicable as a penalty up to 5 times. Now consiffication of conveyance, which is said in section 115, right? Now if anybody is doing any kind of conveyance which without informing or any other things, which these are mentioned in section 115, The following conveyance shall be liable to confiscation under section 115. Any vessel which is or has been within the Indian customs water and any aircraft which is or has been in India, or any vehicle which is or has been in custom area while constructed, adapted, altered, or fitted in any manner for the purpose of concealing goods. So in that case, when you altered various things, you constructed it, you fitted various things for the purpose of concealing the goods, right? Your vehicle was there in custom area, you verified it. After that, you did various kind of changes. You altered it, you made a adoption of various things. So these all things will amount to concealing of goods, right? And these all concealing will amount to confiscation of conveyance, which is mentioned in first uh, point of section 115. Similarly, any conveyance from which the whole or any part of the goods is thrown overboard, staved, or destroyed so as to prevent seizure of any officer of the customer. So here, when a conveyance from whole or a part of the goods is thrown overboard, right? A board or a custom will catch those goods, and they will first particularly they will staved or destroyed so as to prevent seizure by the officer of the customs. So even that is also called as confiscation of goods. They will fear that they will get caught. They were having these all goods. By fearing to the custom, they already made some kind of concealing of goods. And while concealing of the goods, later on they found that the custom department has come to know about it. Now the whole board or whole thing, they will destroy it. Why? To prevent the seizure by officer of a custom will come, custom officers, the deputy commissioner of the customs will come, and then the gadget officer of the custom, they will come and they will seize all the goods, and then there will be high amount of penalty. Suppose the goods are of some 10 lakhs, 5 times penalty they have to pay 50 lakhs. So what they will do, they will destroy the goods, right? They will burn the goods and they will destroy it. If custom department, they come to know that the goods are being destroyed by the particular importer, in that case, even those goods are also called as confiscation of conveyance as per section 115. Even if it is destroyed, they have to pay a penalty up to 5 times. Then any conveyance which have been having been required to stop or land under section 106 fails to do so except for good and sufficient cause, right? Any conveyance which have been required to stop, which are not made available for the exporter to export, or not given the goods to the importer for any cause mentioned in section 106, then such all goods are also required for confiscation, right? If there is a sufficient cause, sufficient information available by the custom, with that sufficient cause, these are also liable for confiscation or goods. Any conveyance from which any warehouse goods cleared for exportation or any other goods cleared for exportation under a claim or for a drawback are up, are unloaded without the permission of the proper officer. Okay, you are doing these all things, like you are taking the goods from a warehouse, you are loading it, unloading it, exporting it, clearing it. So anything, whatever you are doing it without the permission of the proper officer of the custom, there even these all goods will be liable for confiscation of conveyance, where you are even liable up to 5 times of the penalty of the goods which you are exporting. Any conveyance carrying imported goods which has entered India and is afterwards found with the whole or substantial portion of such goods missing, unless the master of the vessel or aircraft is able to account for the loss of or deficiency in the goods. Okay, so when the goods are being landed in India, they bought certain goods, some certain quantity of goods. When they actually came in India, some 20% of the quantity of goods were missing. so that substantial portion of such goods were missing. Under this case, so who will be held responsible? The master of the vessel or the aircraft. If it is goods are imported by ship, the master of the vessel will be responsible. All right, you are bringing by the aircraft, the persons in charge there will be responsible, right? And they will be accounted for the loss or deficiency in the goods. So these all things will amount to confiscation of conveyance under section 115 of the Custom Act. Second is any conveyance or animals used as the means of transport in smuggling of any goods or in the carriage of any smuggled goods shall be liable for confiscation unless the owner of conveyance or animal proves that it was so used without the knowledge of conveyance of the owner himself, his agent, if any, and the person is in charge of the conveyance or animal. So if anybody is bringing any transportation or is using any animal for smuggling of any goods from one country to other country, like he is exporting or importing anything from other country to India, in that case he is using either a transportation, like he is using roadways, or he is using some animals, donkey or other animals, to bring those goods. Now in that case, if anything happens, right, the not only the smuggled goods, whatever goods are being caught by the custom, smuggled goods, those goods are taken under the custody of the customs, but also the means of the transport, right, the transportation as well as the animals will be taken under the custody of customs, and there the owner of that customs will be held responsible, and owner has to prove it that his transport was taken by some agent and he was not having knowledge about the goods which were being imported from other countries. Similarly, he has to prove that there were some animals which some agent has taken it for some work and he was not having knowledge about it. Then only with the proper information, the owner will be released with his means of transport.